Aging is part of the process where your blood vessels will become narrowed as time goes on.
When you see like Medicare in US supports or funds, I mean it's covered by the insurance and they can go claim or whatever it is.
If you're pre-diabetic, you're pre-hypertensive, try EECP. It reverses it.
This event is sponsored by Symphony Nutraceuticals, pengeluar Ecosenia, high ORAC value antioxidant. Anda boleh dapatkan this kind of antioxidant dengan doktor berhampiran anda. Hi everyone, welcome back to the Lesung Batu Medic Show bersama saya Dr. Roland Victor. Today kita akan discuss tentang satu topik berkenaan dengan masalah sakit jantung. Seperti yang anda sendiri maklum, tahun 2022 Statistik negara telah tunjukkan lebih kurang kematian utama Malaysia ialah disebabkan oleh ischemic heart disease ataupun masalah sakit jantung. Hampir 20% pada populasi telah meninggal dunia disebabkan oleh masalah sakit jantung. Namun, persoalannya ialah adakah kita cukup kelengkapan kesihatan? Adakah kita cukup kelengkapan perubatan dari segi hospital-hospital yang mampu menampung kesan jangka panjang sekiranya masalah sakit jantung ini menjadi satu isu yang endemik, yang keterlaluan, sekiranya perangkat ni makin lama makin meningkat. Terdapat pelbagai jenis rawatan alternatif yang mungkin boleh membantu dalam mengatasi ataupun menangani masalah ni ataupun mengurangkan beban sistem kesihatan awam ataupun swasta. Antaranya ialah satu yang kita kenal agak lama, dialah EECP Machine ataupun Enhanced External Counter Pulsation yang digunakan sebagai satu kaedah rawatan untuk masalah penyakit jantung. Dan bersama saya hari ini ialah Dr. Dan, sahabat lama saya daripada Heart Bit E-ECP. Dan, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you for having
me. Kita akan mulakan sesi perbincangan ni tentang, saya katakan tadi, statistik negara tunjukkan 20% of the population is having heart problems. And ni tak kisah sama ada lelaki ataupun perempuan, siapa-siapa kan boleh kena serangan jantung. And then lepas pandemik kita lihat kesan ke sakit jantung ni memang lagi melarat, terutama sekali pada golongan kaum lelaki before the age of 40. And we think this is a global problem, not here. Of course, we're not going to discuss of the pandemic, but when I look into EECP as a whole, apa benda EECP ni? Macam mana rawatan ni dilaksanakan and how long have you been doing this?
Okay, thank you for having me. Bagaimana ia dilakukan? Okay, I start one by one nanti.
Okay, jom.
Right.
Kita kena lesung dulu. Jom. Okay.
Alright. EECP ni ialah satu peranti perubatan. It's a medical device. Okay. Alright.
Berdaftar.
Okay. Ada juga few other brands. So kita tak tahu yang mana berdaftar lah. Tapi ada beberapa yang telah berdaftar dengan Medical Device Authority. Now, practice EECP sebenarnya bukan something yang baru. Dah lama, in fact. Kalau kita go back to the history, we go back to somewhere in 1970s. Okay, 60s is where theoretically it was,
conceived.
Yeah, this can happen. Trying to use a rat, but after that, in 70s, 80s, that's when they start to actually develop this. Now, the main idea untuk EECP ialah it is to actually enhance a diastolic return.
Okay.
That's why. Okay, we go to that later. Now, so this machine has gone through pelbagai evolusi lah, boleh dikatakan. Mula-mula sekali, they were using actually hydraulic machines. So lepas orang buat EECP, dia dah bangun daripada katil tu, they will need 30 minutes to recalibrate the machine before someone goes in.
Okay.
Alright. So these are all evolution. Now it's all using pneumatic pumps. That means all using angin.
Air lah.
Air. So the two big players kalau kita tengok in the world is China and US.
China and US.
Okay. They are the biggest producers of EECP device.
Okay.
Setakat ni, what I know is Singapore is working on it. Yes, they have a prototype already. And other countries not so, because we are always buying those machines from either US or China. Now, this machine, if you see, it's quite widely used. especially di negara China. Okay, we can go back about 6 to 7 years ago. China sudah pun start using EECP in their government hospitals.
Okay.
Major government hospitals in China uses EECP.
As part of their protocol for heart treatment.
Yes. But in China, they use it for a lot of things actually, not only heart. Stroke pun dia pakai. Yeah, for stroke, diabetes, hypertension. In fact, in my practice so far, saya pun dapat lihat every time that a diabetic patient, their HbA1c just gets better after a course of 35 sessions. Now, blood pressure as well. You see someone with blood pressure, yeah, they are on medication, fine, we don't stop anything. But towards the end, if they are doing it properly, which is like at least 4 to 5 times a week, they'll definitely see a slight drop in their blood pressure. That all goes back to endothelial dysfunction. Yeah.
So when you discuss about endothelial dysfunction ni, kita lihat pada lingkaran blood vessel ataupun saluran darah. Saluran darah ni dia ada banyak lapis.
Betul.
And then the lapis yang kita lihat is the endothelial lapisan antara paling the inner layers.
Right.
So apa mekanisme EECP machine ni?
Okay. Mekanisme EECP machine sebenarnya macam ni. Good question. There will be 3 sets of cuffs. Cuff sama macam BP cuff tapi besar sikit lah.
Tapi letak kat mana? Orang kena tahu letak kat mana ni?
Yes, letak dekat your cuff, thigh and buttock.
Okay.
So your entire lower extremities, everything will be cuffed up. There will be 3 sets lah. And after that, there will be ECG electrodes placed on your chest.
Okay.
And the console will be right next to you. So basically, for the entire 1 hour of EECP, you will have an ongoing ECG of your heart.
Okay.
Now, machine ni, kalau kita tengok how it is actually operating is simple. It gets the signals from the ECG complexes.
Okay.
The moment the heart is at systolic phase, the machine relaxes.
Okay.
When it's going through the diastolic phase, that's when it pumps. So kita boleh nampak it's like this, heart pumps, relax. This one pumps.
Okay.
It's like that.
It's a counter.
Correct. That's why it's counter pulsation.
Okay.
So it's like in that 1 hour, as if you have 2 hearts pumping.
Okay.
You see, that itself is going to...
It looks like an exercise already now.
Correct. That's why I'm coming to now. When the pump is actually pumping from downwards, of course you'll be lying on the bed. Now this medical device ni, saya kena bagi tahu, it's huge, it's big, macam katil, right? You have to lie on that. Now,
it's like a super single kind of mattress kan, kalau you tengok something like that.
Yeah,
and then you have
slightly smaller lah. Because super single pun maybe boleh lah tulis sini ke sana. Yang ni tak boleh. You just have to be like
static je lah.
Static. And lagipun kalau nak bergerak pun tak boleh because your legs are all cuffed up. Alright? And you just have to lie down still lah. And when it's pumping, apa yang actually berlaku ialah both your venous and arterial, blood flow, everything is actually being pushed in a sequential way. That means the cuff will pump first, then the thigh, then the buttocks.
It's not like serentak 3 pumps and all.
Tidak. Sebab what is the focus is, what's the objective is to milk your entire
I see.
blood flow upwards.
It's almost like when people do like lymphatic drainage in the face or anything, like you need to clear up and then they get to go one by one, like quad by quad by quad. So technically you're working on your soleus, then you're going to the quad, then you're going to the glute. So you layer by layer by layer.
But this actually it is just for the blood
to flow.
Alright. So we can just imagine macam take ubat gigi, tekan daripada bawah ke atas. That's what is happening.
Okay.
Every heartbeat.
Okay.
Now, bila machine tu tahu when to actually this thing, it's all following your rhythm.
Okay.
So systolic, that's when it actually pumps. This is going to be happening for 1 hour.
Okay.
Every treatment is 1 hour, and an entire course of treatment ialah 35 sessions.
Or more or less?
Sometimes may need more. Sometimes 35 can be adequate.
Okay.
That depends on the results that actually we get. You see, EECP, sometimes a lot of people do ask me, ni macam massage ke? Yes, massage. Rasa macam massage. Really, it does feel like a nice, good massage. Tapi, yang ni ada monitor, if you see at the side, it is actually showing a lot of other parameters, showing peak ratio, area ratio, which actually tells us how is your elasticity of your blood vessels in your body.
Okay. Okay.
So as someone goes through the entire process, kita akan nampak perubahan. We can get the readings from the console where parameters starts to change. Yang ni lah will give us the idea of vascular resistance. How is the vascular resistance?
Okay.
And whether blood vessel makin elastic ke tak.
Okay, I'm going to ask you a bit technical question. So when you look into vascular resistance, right, we're monitoring the ECG as part of the vascular resistance. Betul? One. Tetapi vascular resistance will also exist to all vessels now.
Correct.
Because people always salah anggap that kalau ada atherosclerosis ni hanya berlaku dekat saluran-saluran jantung, and the answer is bukan. Orang yang ada masalah atherosclerosis ni tengah ada masalah sklerosis ni di merata-rata pelusuk badan mereka.
Betul. Seluruh badan
mereka. So that's why ada issue diabetes and everything. When you telling me about that diabetes issue, why the improve, then it's very triggered me to understand that apa yang most likely happening is this nitrous oxide.
Correct.
Vasodilation position yang boleh berlaku because resistance.
Yes, betul. Kalau kita tengok satu persamaan between exercise and EECP is this production of nitric oxide. Why patient yang lepas buat EECP they feel a lot of stamina? Most of my patients will say that. Like those who are not at the heart failure stage, well patient and all, even after a stent, they feel a lot of stamina suddenly. Wow, why I feel like jumping like that? Where does it come from? Now, you will feel that way if you have been exercising or doing vigorous activity, and let's say you are quite active and tiba-tiba kalau you don't become, you become slow, you feel like, you don't feel that thing, Now, why they feel that stamina, what they mean by that stamina is actually nitric oxide. They sleep better. They don't feel lethargic all the time. They don't feel easily tired. All this is actually nitric oxide plus very important factor, which is the elasticity of our blood vessels. Now, one thing we have to understand, aging is part of the process where your blood vessels will become narrowed as time goes on. Okay, there's nothing. Unless you are someone who's active. So you
and
can
also the food, the nutrition you
Correct.
makan and everything.
Betul. So it is part of aging process. As we age, our vessels get narrowed. Another thing also actually happens. Our organs, internal organs, also tends to get slightly less blood flow. But it's not happening overnight. It's happening over a long period of time. But what the organ actually does, it will not cause you any problem right away. It will try to adapt itself. You see? So when that starts to happen, that is aging lah. All right? So now, when EECP comes in now, what I'm trying to say is, senaman, what can senaman give you? You can basically get it from EECP. But I'm not saying tak perlu bersenam lepas tu kena buat. No, it's not that. Alright, so there's a lot of similarities what we can see. Not only nitric oxide, in terms of other things also kita boleh tengok.
So when kita cerita pasal nitric oxide ni, you know lah, we all sebagai doktor yang banyak lihat pada men's health ni, cardiovascular issues is the pencetus utama kepada masalah mati pucuk and erectile dysfunction and everything among men. So again, that component of nitrous oxide, elasticity and everything berhubung kait. Of course, bila pakai EECP kat sana tak pakai kan?
Tak pakai. Saya tak pakai. To be frank,
yes.
I do have patients yang maybe 60, 70 old. Improve until my patient tell, doctor, please lah, I had a few sessions already. Can you get me? Is there any like something to cover?
Okay.
Sebab every time dia pump, dia boleh rasa.
Yeah, of course. Because you see that place will definitely have more delivery lah.
Right.
So the blood vessels dekat corpus cavernosum tu memang akan memecah ni juga.
Betul.
Okay, understand. And that is a good thing. Even some kajian yang tunjukkan even dalam men's health pun that they are using EECP as a therapy for ED. Correct. And you also understand that when Dr. Dann mentioned about the elasticity of blood vessel, it's very important. And as we age, the elasticity of tissues deplete, and maintaining the elasticity is very important. Okay, my tough question is industry challenge. Okay, you and I know the big pharma industry or the hospitalization or private healthcare to begin. Even though we sit in the private healthcare facility, but we are the small fishes in this big pond. Masalah sakit jantung, cardiovascular is always going to be like, you're going to see a cardiologist, you're going to see a cardiothoracic surgeon to fix this problem. You go in, ada chest pain, it's an angio, it's a stress test, it's a stent or a full cabbage, a bypass. This is going to be the things when it comes to vessels.
Right.
I know that EECP cannot fix maybe like neural conduction issues with cardiovascular. It's not going to fix. Jangan kata ada macam terpaksa guna pacemaker dia pergi cari. Tak boleh. Ada benda yang kita kena understand this the grounds what we're looking at fixing. So the industry at the moment, it's very pushy towards surgery and stent and everything. Tapi surprisingly, big countries as you mentioned, China, India, have accepted penggunaan benda ni as mainstream medicine and digunakan in their big facility center, government setting and everything.
Right.
Kenapa kita lambat?
Okay. First, sebab ialah kita lambat adapt. That's one thing. China started EECP, I think 50 years ago.
50 years ago.
50 years ago. Okay. They've been doing a lot of research on that. Even US also. India, kalau kita tengok, they are not producing any EECP device, but it's widely used. One thing, we have to see the economical factor also. Like here, everyone got a medical card. You go in, sometimes, some of my patients, sebelum dia nak cakap, okay, stand dah masuk. You understand? So there is someone to pay.
Apa medical card boleh bayar?
Medical card, yes. Correct. That is the wrong thing that's later on. Now, so dekat sana, that's a huge population there. Not everybody can actually afford stent. So the demand was big, and the moment they start doing, they saw that this thing is really working, and orang-orang yang ada duit pun sekarang ni, they don't want to go for stents. They better do something non-invasive. They don't want to put a foreign body inside them because it's proven to actually.
And there's data to back this up. Right? Is there any data to back this up?
There is many data. There's one called ischemia trial, which is done quite recently. It actually shows that recurrent invasive procedures like stenting actually did not do any good. End of the trial, it actually showed the group that did not do anything, that means fully on medical treatment, and the group that did all kinds of invasive methods, their results are the same. In fact, one more thing, the group with more invasive procedures had more heart attacks.
So, but you see the idea again, when you look into the population, it's like, no, if I put something that can extend the lumen, it's going to protect me. But yet again, the simple discussion is the elasticity of the vessel.
Correct.
And the integrity of the vessel.
That's one. The other thing
compromise.
The other thing is putting a stent. Yes, if you are going to look at it as a PVC pipe or a getah, yes, it's going to be there forever. It'll be okay. This is a blood vessel. You put in within 2 weeks. You won't be able to see the stent anymore. It will start covering up the intima layers. Everything will start to cover up. Now, the other thing is you will have like the entire saluran tu. You will have like a bump there.
Yep.
I mean, logical mind, simple. When there is a small resistance there, it will just cause another block. That's why there's another study. This is an international study which was done quite some time ago. It shows that 95% people who goes for the first stent will go for their second or third within 3 years.
This is without any lifestyle modification or with lifestyle modification?
General, this is a world statistic.
So technically, cardiology is not fixing the problem.
They're fixing the problem at that time, but
In an emergency position, yes.
Yes.
But in the long run, the data doesn't support that.
Correct.
The long run.
Correct. And not to blame them, but how many cardiologists actually sits with their patients and tell them, you need to change your lifestyle, you need to change what you eat, and you have to exercise, you have to sleep well. No, they don't have the time. Of course, they are busy. Stand masuk pergi. A lot of my patients I've seen, they be like, I just stented, I don't know how it happens. They think that once you stand, okay, your problem is solved. No,
because
it is
because you see,
measure.
their focus is always in that small, minute, particular
Correct.
location, but it's a systemic. And see, this is where the crisis will become really catastrophic.
Correct.
Because you have limited cardiologists. How many cardiologists we have in our country? 2,000, got lesser?
Around there lah. Yeah,
Okay, 2,000 cardiologists for a 32 million population.
Yeah.
You do the maths for one cardiologist, and then you also understand that. Do you know that less than 20% of the country is having insurance?
Less than 20%.
And medical insurance is not even 8%. It's a huge gap to fill. So everybody is going to fall back to government facility.
Right.
And how many facilities you have? Even IJN is not even a government facility anymore. It's a privatized entity already.
Yes.
But so
Sedang.
you have like Serdang, you have like satellite in certain regions. So kalau traffic ni meningkat, like I said,
Waiting list
the
is
waiting
also
list is
very,
one
very
thing,
long. Yeah.
and you already have this doubling issue from 10,000, 20,000. Another 10 years is going to move from 20 to 40, or even higher.
Yeah.
Because you have the morbid obesity, you have the lifestyle, the stress,
Yes,
the
diabetes.
get-go punya lifestyle, the education of protecting ourselves is tak cukup. Not just that, I'm going to add some more the cigarette, the vape,
Right.
starting at a very young age.
Right.
It's destroying the endothelial lining of the
true.
of the
Children,
of the vessels.
kids, right.
So problem ni akan datang, and if alternative prevention, I mean, we're not just saying like everybody must sit on an EECP machine, tapi we're going to look into that lifestyle issue, because the cardiologist is overboard to be on procedure. It's like for them, it's like I go in, it's like procedure. There's no time for me to sit and advise and sit down and have a 20 minutes chit chat session with the patient. Takkan ada tadi.
Tak ada.
They're going to be even more busier. Unless we need to find like a 10 years, 20 years pipeline, okay, how to fix this gate of people. I mean, it's like people who are now in their 30s, how do they not get a heart attack in the 50s? They need to have that kind of agenda.
Correct.
That means you cannot fix this problem.
Yes.
And going to this kind of technologies, we know there's always resistance in adaptation. Big thing.
Yeah.
And also pushback by governance. It's a tough thing, because suddenly you cannot use, only cardiologists can use. You tak cukup cardiologist.
That's the thing.
You tak cukup cardiologist.
Pun bukan nak. I don't think they are going
because
to come
you see the problem with the medical industry is dollar and cents.
Right.
In our situation, no urologist want to sit down and just prescribe sildenafil or tadalafil. I would rather want to do a prostate biopsy or a prostate resection. It's 20 minutes for me in the surgery, and it's 20 minutes for me to talk to, for you to buy, for me to write a 100 ringgit prescription. It's economics of scale. They will not
Correct.
But what we need to now think is like, okay, how do we fix the problem or not create the problem to become worse?
Yeah, true. That's a very good angle of looking at it.
Yeah, because we will not fix the problem unless we get people to understand that, hey, you know what, we want to see what other countries are doing. Big countries like China, India, I'm pretty sure like Germany, Europe, all are using it. US are using it already. So
in US, EECP is covered by insurance.
See,
Medicare covers EECP since 1992. It does. In Germany also, and India, there's a practitioner, there's a cardiologist from India. He was talking about it the other day. One state of India have decided to actually anyone above 60 or certain conditions, they can go and do EECP and it's paid for. The government pays for it.
they still want to keep the population higher.
I mean, they have, you see, like in India, it's not only for heart problems. Anyone who's more than 60, it's already an indication.
Okay.
Okay, but of course, that's not our indication. If you ask me, in Malaysia, it's simple. If you're 35 and above, you never exercise or you hardly exercise, you definitely need EECP.
Okay.
That is the thing. And if you are quite active and all that, you may not.
Okay,
Right.
understand. So another question to ask, like, we know. I want to know who can use it, who can't use it.
Okay.
Because sometimes, like, if you mismanage something like this, it can even be catastrophic.
Correct.
Because, like,
Now, I would say any medical doctor can use it with proper training.
okay,
Now, this training is something that we can't get in Malaysia. Let's face it, it's not in our medical textbook. EECP was not there. But recently, it's already been added to Harrison's.
Oh,
in the last 3, this thing, yes, there is in Harrison's. Now, so a lot of doctors actually want to practice that, but they just don't know where to start, how to do it, and all that. Because you have to go for a certain training. I went for my training in China and then went to India.
when was this?
This was 7 years ago, 6,
Okay.
7 years ago. And then I started this entire thing about 6 years ago. So, yes, so our group of doctors who is practicing EECP got trained by me. And then we did go to a few workshops. There was last one in Jakarta. It was Cardiology Congress, not conference, Cardio Congress, AFCC. They had an entire workshop on how to handle EECPs. All the cardiologists were there, but it was happening in Jakarta. So this kind of things actually is very much needed. A lot of people don't know where to start that kind of thing. And you don't get it in Malaysia. Nobody teaches here. So that I see is also a problem, where that's one of the reasons why there's not many people doing EECP. There's not many EECP centers as well.
And there's not many also to add in.
Correct.
Cardiologists who are advocating this.
Correct. Yes, that's another thing. Now, I have seen in the last few years, from my experience, a cardiothoracic surgeon is always in support of EECP. I don't know why. They seem to see that, yes, this a cardiothoracic, but the interventional cardiologists, sad to say, not all, but more than 50% are not so supportive about EECP. I've got patient telling me their cardiologist actually told them not to go for it. When I went through the echo and angiogram, perfect candidate for EECP. Good thing he listened to me. He did his EECP and he knew that, this was the right thing to do.
So in medicine, it's always second opinion.
Yes, very, very true. Especially when you are given a surgical opinion and the first time, say, wait, go get a second opinion. So that is something that I've seen in the last few years. But there have been a lot of cardiologists lately being very supportive. And of course, like, they can see that things are working, because some patients, they are, going to some cardiac centers. After doing EECP, they go back there and they don't tell about it sometimes. They can actually see a lot of improvement. So the cardiologists actually sometimes are, what did you do? Your EF suddenly going up. And then when they say, actually, I did EECP, slowly made them, probably,
Pedal back.
Pedal back. Yeah. Not all. Some are still very, very, nope, you need a stent. So cardiologists' point of view, we are still a bit divided. Not like in US, not like in India. India, the president of the EECP, they are all cardiologists. Many of them. So they have choice like this. You see, like in India, you can say right now, if you have
Free
the money,
country.
if you have the money to put in a stent and you don't have the time and you just need a quick fix, go for stent. You have the time, you don't want to put anything inside and you don't want to spend so much money, go for ECP. There are cardiologists outside hospital having their own clinics. Do both. They do stenting inside the hospital.
I mean, you see, medicine is so terrific and so specific that we have to treat every single patient with the best given option, not with the best given interest for ourselves.
Right. Or other people's interests.
Exactly.
As well.
And another one more thing also, you see, when you see like Medicare in US supports or funds, I mean it's covered by the insurance and they can go claim or whatever it is. And when this thing cascades in and they say like, look, that form of liberation is given. Okay, not if you do this kind of procedure, it's covered. It's covered. Because why? If you think about it, if I'm an insurance company, look, if an ECP is going to cost you, let's just say 10,000 ringgit, let's put a ballpark, 10,000 ringgit. Yeah. And a surgical intervention or a stenting costs up to like 80,000 ringgit on the card. Yeah. On the card. I mean, I'm doing the mathematics lah. That's my expertise. Sometimes I look at this kind of things. You know, I like to debunk calculations. I'll fix 8 people's problem.
Yep.
I'll make more money as an insurance company, and I'll fix the problem.
Yeah.
And all of these interventions are conducted by dedicated practitioners, whether they are surgeons, whether they are cardiologists, whether they are trained, competent physicians with key interests in certain fields. Allow them to practice in order to diffuse the traffic.
Correct.
But if we don't fix this kind of problems the next 5 to 10 years, we will go into a lot of trouble.
Right. True. You see, in 2020, beginning of the year, in Singapore, there was 3 insurance companies also approved. You can claim. It was AIA, Great Eastern. I've seen the policy. It actually states there, enhanced external counterpulsation. But it's happening only in Singapore.
Wow.
Maybe
Singapore has a heart.
Okay. No, maybe it is about to come. I think
maybe it
Malaysia
will come.
well.
I think if
because they're all connected anyway.
Because if they're talking about big players like that in the insurance game, I think the policies would always reflect. I mean, like what are new things? Because like I just saw in some new policies, not mentioning any brands, even Chinese medicine, acupuncture and all is part of the claim.
Yes.
Yes. So that evolution is already being incorporated in certain policies already.
Correct.
Yeah. So it's just not like physiotherapy you can claim. Even if you go for like acupuncture or traditional medicine, junk with mainstream medicine. So that thing is already starting to sprout already.
They have I've seen some policies where they have an allocation for alternative. A few thousand, you can do claim up to that this thing. Yeah,
but that's a good thing. So, in terms of your journey in this segment, it's very interesting because you see it's where I define that if you look into the Health National Blueprint, this white paper and everything, the government is already now looking into initiatives to how to make sure that they have a surplus of GPs. You have a deficit of specialists. And you have this situation now that if the inflation goes up and medical inflation is high, people will fall back to government system. That means like if you understand like the 60% of the population will fall back into public healthcare,
right?
And maybe only a certain people who are very affluent to afford private healthcare, and also maybe they're protected with insurance. So in order to fix this, you need to now look at like, okay, how do we create the surplus of physicians who are leaving private government sector at the get-go of end of housemanship or 1 or 2 years not getting their full contract and everything. You need now to stimulate either the economy, stimulate their knowledge, or provide something, or ease out opportunities for young doctors. Hey, come, training is available for this. We see this in next 20 years. This is a market of key interest we need to protect. We're going to anticipate this.
Yes.
If you don't anticipate, then you're planning to fail again.
Correct.
Mak, kenapa muram je?
Mak risau, sakit lutut mak ni.
Jangan risau, Mak. Saya dah dapatkan tablet Cantiva 750 dari farmasi. Makanlah 1 biji sehari. Dapat legakan sakit sendi dan otot tu.
Wah, bagusnya.
Tablet Cantiva 750 melegakan sakit sendi dan otot.
Correct. Fortunately, there are quite a number of new doctors, especially contract doctors.
Venturing into this?
Yes, venturing into this. So that's when I did see their concerns that they don't know where to start. Of course, they are new. And when it comes to cardio, everyone's like, oh, okay, all right. You know, that thing. But once they actually understand entirely, they go through the process of training, it's actually very easy. Because just one thing, do not put the wrong patient on the bed.
Okay.
When you know how to screen patients, it's much easier there. You know, there's no problems after that.
Yeah, I think when it comes to screening patients, I think a competent physician can easily screen this out.
Right.
Easily screen this out. Whether you're having an acute MI or you're having some valvular defect.
Correct.
So you need to know when you're going to play. But a simple question to throw out there to the audience: who cannot do?
Okay, who cannot do? People who have valvular problems. That means if you have a defect, you know, in the valves in the heart, you may need more screening. But it depends also. Sometimes the severity of the problem. Some you can do, but basically it's if you have valvular problems, do not do. You have deep vein thrombosis, known you just did, and then you have an ultrasound of this thing. You should not do. Cancers, neoplastic, yes, no. Yeah, because what EECP does is it's going to enhance blood flow.
Yeah.
So if there's a tumor growing there, you're going to enhance it.
Okay.
So, but there have been another school of thought actually. In India, there are some doctors who actually do for cancer patients. All right?
Because of the nitrous oxide.
Nitrous oxide. And their argument is cancer cells grows in an environment without oxygen. So if you are giving more oxygen, it should not grow. So there's this thing. But to be on the safe side, because now we got a lot of compliance issues coming in, regulations, asking to get a certain license and all that. So we keep away from that. Basically, it's more for angina, stable angina. Now, what else we cannot do will be AAA, any vascular problems. Known problems, you should not be doing. Yeah.
Understand. And this is all part of the training and everything and discussion, and I'm pretty sure like continuous research journals and everything are out there with this with the segment.
Lots of them.
So it is technically a safe procedure, but like you said, once regulations come in and it actually tightens up the bolts. We're not saying that we do not need regulations, but there must be a good form of regulation with also a support for the ecosystem.
Correct.
If you go and put pressure, like say, like, oh, no, only hospitals can do it, and then suddenly you realize the price triples, quadruples, then you're not fixing the problem. Right. You're going to push people away from a simple treatment, right out, and then it will throw the load like, hey, if private hospital is having that and it's a recognized procedure, you recognize, how come government hospital not having 100 beds there? Or we have a special ward for EECP alone, kind of thing. I mean, you will create your own problem because you shoot your own foot.
Yep. Right.
And if we fix the problem, it's like, okay, look, bring this kind of discussion to the talking table. Okay, look, how we can work this thing out.
How can we work together?
Yeah, because you see, people who are putting the rules down there again will come from maybe board of leaders or head of state in cardiology and everything sitting down there who are not even using this machine.
Correct.
And they want to give the opinion on behalf of the legislator.
Right.
And then the problem will say like, no, must do it in this kind of situation. Just to play safe, like betul-betul cover up kind of thing. And then you understand like industry, that thing is not feasible. An item becomes 3x the amount.
Right.
and there's no safety issues, even though if you have it in that kind of setting. Yeah, because if you have the setting and you are handling with trained professionals are trained to coordinate or manage an emergency or crisis situation.
Correct.
Even though what happened, because I mean, even in a person who's doing in a resting position can even get an infarct or something like that.
Yeah, a patient could have just walked in before even doing EECP, he may have we must.
Yeah, exactly. And can the machine immediately stop or something? Is the machine's built with this?
Okay, I've not really tried a patient having MI and then putting
of
on
course, don't do that.
Okay, but
during a process.
Okay, basically it has never happened before.
Okay.
Yeah, not only in my practice, but if you have screen the patient well and you put the right patient on the bed, it's very, very hard to say that a patient can get MI. Now just look at the mechanism.
Okay, I want to know that.
Right.
Share
now,
with us.
the coronary artery, all right, gets its perfusion during the diastolic.
Yes, agree.
And what is actually happening to your diastolic is getting augmented. This is diastolic augmentation. Now, your coronary arteries are getting way more perfusion than any time of your day, actually, when you're doing EECP.
Okay.
So how can you actually get a...
You're right. Exactly, you're right. So technically, you're going to get extra more flow. In fact, it's like almost saying that, you know what, if they're having that, you can put them on it.
I would want to say, but there was one study which was done in China many years ago. Okay, many years ago, about 40 years ago. But of course, it's in Chinese. It was translated by my mentor in China. They actually did that. They did that in a hospital, and they were keeping all the time bombs in the hospital, all with 2 infarcts, with all stents and bypass done, and really bad cases. The indication is the moment when they're having MI, they actually put the patient on the EECP. Yes, and it actually reversed it. All right. So that is very, very interesting. I actually knew about this during my first visit to China. That was about in 2017. That's when this cardiologist actually shared with me a certain data. It's amazing. That's when I knew that I'm going to go back and I'm going to do this. Because it's just the success rate is so high, okay? Provided you do it the right way, okay? 80-90% success rate, especially with those with stable angina, all right? And it's not only the nitric oxide. Now, the other thing which actually increases is VEGF.
Okay.
VEGF also increases a lot. That's what creates more new collaterals, new pathways. And these are natural bypasses, actually. Actually, we all have natural bypasses happening. It depends on the level of how active you are. More active you see a sports person's heart, it's already like, the guy would have like
so many branches
3 rounds of EECP, So that's what you want to do to a heart failure patient, but you can't ask him to run like the other guy.
Yeah. So for people who don't understand what is VEGF, is vascular endothelial growth factor. This thing, I know ramai orang pernah dengar like PRP and everything. Those are growth factor, but this one is being specific and terrific for the improvement of blood vessels.
Yes, and so, also creation of
kita nak cucuk dalam jantung tak boleh. It's too fast for us to reach like that. But this one, by naturally, when the pumping is going on,
right,
the vessels will technically release the VEGF.
Correct. It's all due to that friction as well. So it releases VEGF. Now VEGF goes to like certain segment of the end of certain capillaries. It actually initiates the process where it sprouts and then it starts to take a different new path. So like patients do ask me, so I have all 3 blocked, so if I do EECP, will I get a 4th one? No, it's not going to work that way. Just that your 3 is going to remain there. When you look at a heart,
the main trunk is there.
Yeah, trunk is there. But there are thousands of branches, small branches, like some are even as thin as it can only allow 1 red blood cell. That is how thin it can be. All right, there's millions of it. So these are going to actually grow even more. These are natural bypasses which is happening. during EECP. So that explains why patients with angina, after a course of it, they say, I don't have any more angina. Because we are looking at a blocked artery most of the time, looking at, it's blocked. We need to remove the block. We need to do something about the block. Now let's look at the heart as a globally, okay, we look at the heart. How to actually increase the blood flow to the heart. Okay, so that's when it comes like, exercise, things like that and all that. Even exercise promotes VEGF. So when a blood vessel or a collateral starts to grow, because it knows where to go, it knows where the demand is.
It has its own, what they call it, like its own senescence, its own like intelligence.
Right. Like my example I always give is, ambil pokok, any small pokok, tanam here, tapi kita tuang air dekat sini after about 1 meter away. After 3 months, you cabut the pokok, you see all the roots going there. So it's a very natural process. So that's how natural bypasses, which is collateral, starts to grow. You may have like a certain area is like really deprived of oxygen because of certain vessels are blocked. Now doing EECP, this natural bypass are going to start focusing at that area and straight going to start to go to that area and provide more oxygen. That relieves angina. Not like, it's very simple actually to see it that way, rather than trying to do something about the blockage so that to,
And how about like old infarcts or scars? What are you all seeing in terms of studies and journals?
Okay.
Is there any like miraculous kind of changes?
There's a lot. Heart sizes have those with slightly enlarged atrium. It has gone back to a normal size. It has. That's one. EF increases in
that one
every
for
patient.
sure.
Yeah. My lowest patient with lowest EF, it was 23%. It took him 5 minutes to actually walk into. And one round of EECP increased it to about 38. Second round, he was at 42, 45. But his life has changed. You see, quality of life sometimes is the most important thing. You can be alive, but you be sayo like that, you're going to be, you're going to be a burden to other people.
True.
But the man who needed a lot of assistance to actually get up, go to the toilet, now today he's walking by himself. You see? So quality of life improves. Not that alone. Sleep quality. Amazingly, a lot of my patients who have very bad sleep, especially they have low GFR, CKD, second stage and all that, they will start to have all this. It actually helps in terms of sleep very well.
Do you see anyone's GFR go up?
Yes, also.
Okay, thank you. That's another topic.
Right, that one will need.
Wow. I can see actually where the dynamics is
Right.
going.
If you can just get it right, like
It's
it's entirely correct. It's entirely blood flow. When you enhance your blood flow, a lot of miracles actually happens to your body.
And besides the therapy in your center side, what other things? Example, like do you all like focus on focusing on add on looking into their diet, their lifestyle, fixing those kind of things, because sometimes people always feel that when we have a center like this, we just focus on just the machine. So I mean, like, are you all looking into like lifestyle? Are you looking into like supplements? What do you all would advise? Is there anything that whether it's like working on the bioflavonoids, working on your omega-3 is very, very important, working on the CoQ10,
right,
and dishing the statins.
Okay. Yeah, we have our own line of supplements now. CoQ10, magnesium, L-carnitine, D-ribose. Yeah, this
L-carnitine, D-ribose,
and D-ribose works perfectly well, especially with those with heart failure. Now, the other thing that I do is CCF.
Okay,
congestive heart failure actually can be reversed as well. Okay, but it takes a lot of monitoring. Now, heart failures and all, of course, we give them the supplements to take, because that's what they actually need. Now, congestive heart failure needs more observation, but you just have to make sure that the patient is not fluid overloaded at the time that they are doing EECP.
Okay.
In that case, I can even give another example. I even had a patient who goes for hemodialysis. Right after his hemodialysis, he has to come for his EECP. The next day, no lah, he'll be, So it worked well, but you have to see what was your focus, what was your concern. He came to feel better, okay, more nitric oxide, and and he, if I'm not mistaken, he had a bit of a cardiac condition. His EF was a bit low lah. All right, his EF improved, not so much, but there was some improvement. He was very happy with it. You see, he didn't come to like revive his kidney, no.
Okay.
Because a lot of people do ask that.
That hope.
Yeah, that hope. He's a kidney patient. Can that? No. We are going to look at your heart, all right, and your overall well-being. Then we can do.
Nice. So where do you see yourself as a physician? I mean, I would say, you are much more senior in this segment of medicine in this EECP journey at the moment. Where do you see your journey going on? Is it like you feel that there's going to be this need of like, look, we have this problem, we can see where the fear is, where the direction of disease is going. It is a pandemic.
Correct.
It's not if you are just thinking about non-communicable disease,
right,
this is a pandemic.
Right.
And what you think has to be done, and where are you all going?
Okay. A few things. Let me start with what I do. You see, when we first started, of course, we were advertising or even calling upon patients with angina, heart problems alone. But today we are not doing only that. If you're pre-diabetic, you're pre-hypertensive, try EECP. It reverses it. Because that's the same advice you will get from a GP. They say, you're pre-diabetic, go run, right? Come and do EECP, you can do the same thing. If you don't have the time, all right? That is one.
If you have no 1 hour to run,
then you... Right. So that is the kind of awareness that we are giving. Because initially, the first 2 years of when we started, it was looking like a cardiac clinic. Everyone is like, coming just because of cardiac this thing. No, today if you have diabetes, your HbA1c is uncontrollable, you can still come. Because it's not only the EECP. We do nutrition and we have our supplements as well. And we teach a lot of things like in terms of eating habits. See, for example, I tell you, we have a general problem, which is late eating. Right, late eating. You can advise a lot of people, but some will do. They will start to have dinner by 6:30, 7. But it's just very difficult for some people, and they're diabetic. So we've done a few arrangements. Like for example, this is smaller changes in a patient's diet. If you happen to eat dinner at 9 o'clock, you don't have breakfast tomorrow. Your breakfast will start tomorrow at 9:30 onwards. This itself, they come back, they see a lot of difference in terms of their energy, okay? In terms of
IF, like mini IF.
Correct, mini IF, And then when they get okay with it, they feel quite comfortable with doing that. That's when we, insert the entire IF thing. And that does a very good job as well, together with EECP and the supplements. Not to brag, I've seen those on insulin have been reversed.
I think
diabetes is reversible.
We know that we can actually fix that problem. It's just that whether we want to accept it.
Correct. See, that's where there's another thing. There are diabetics where they follow everything. They can follow the diet, but they can't exercise. They may have injured
joint
issues. What are we going to do to these patients? EECP will fill in that vacuum.
So that's like 1 hour, how many calories burned?
Hard to say, because
you're lying.
Right. There have been publication on EECP from China where it says like 1 hour of EECP the nitric oxide production and a few other things is equivalent to someone running 6 kilometers. It's
Average
just that
1 hour, yeah.
Yeah.
Talking about that, and the heart rate. What's the heart rate kept at?
now, heart rate is going to be normal because you're lying down. You might be sleeping, but it's still going to follow your heart rate.
Okay.
You see?
So it's not even going to increase by 10%,
No,
20%.
it's
the
not going
effect
to. It's
tolerance.
following exactly your heart rate. So the difference between exercise and EECP is exercise you perspire because you sweat, accumulation of lactic acid in your muscles and all that. Now, all that does not happen. What's similar is the velocity of blood flow going up and down. Now, when you're exercising, your heart is actually pumping fast so that it can send that kind of velocity. Here, you have the machine to actually pump it for you.
And can that speed dial up?
Yes. It's part of the procedures. Now, 35 sessions will not be at the same pressure.
Okay.
We will increase every session minimally, and a lot of them do not even feel that.
So it's all tracked and all that. So even when you're doing it, the machine also sort of like has its own AI to see okay, look, what's the journey patient, because when you log in you see okay, this
Correct.
this session, all of this is all recorded. So it's like a lot of data.
A lot of
So
data
it's-
there.
it's-
A lot of
because
data there.
Because why I wanted to ask that was like, okay, give a person like me, I'm always in that ready position. On a resting position, I'll be like 52, 54.
That's good.
So because of that old football playing and
Right.
everything. So and then if I go and run at the speed of even like 10 kilometers per hour, my heart rate will only go like 90, 110. So then I'm saying like 110 is like, I can push to 120, 130 if I want to. But then I'll be like injuring my knee then. So then like, that's why I'm thinking like if a person like in that ready position, or I'm talking about like a triathlete coming in to try EECP. The guy will be like, look, my baseline is 42. And when I'm running at that pace, my heart rate can go like 120, 130 and still steadily hit the road. So like I'm thinking like people will start coming in to even do conditional training through this kind of machine.
It's happening already. It's happening in the sports industry now.
Not here lah.
Not here.
Majulah sukan untuk negara.
In Dubai, there is this club. It's called EECP Fitness Club.
Okay.
Like they conduct like summer camps where they bring in athletes from all over the world and train, and they have all the hi-fi machines to actually measure their VO2 and this thing, everything, and EECP is there, and you will see that all these athletes will have to undergo EECP. Wow. It's a game changer. China has started it. Why do you think China is taking 190 over medals in Olympic? Their athletes are all undergoing EECP.
Our athletes vape.
Right. And All Blacks, the rugby, they do EECP. I have pictures of them. After every match, they all go for EECP for fastening the recovery process.
Oh, lactic acid flush out.
3 days becomes 1 day. There's a publication on that as well. So EECP can actually go into a lot of fields. Let's not
put it just into a disease-based.
Correct, disease-based, and let's not confine it to cardiology alone. Right? I got patients who have done EECP and suddenly saw his hair growing. He was bald. Maybe you should try, bro.
I want to stay bald, man.
No, it's a simple reason where the vascular bed
the
of the scalp was not so good, and suddenly he had spots of hair growing.
I must be now consider whether to do EECP or not now.
So we don't confine it to cardiac, because when we put it that way, a lot of people go, I got no heart problem. Why do I need? No, it's not that. I ask them back, do you run? Do you exercise 3 times a week? They say no. Then you need it. You see, you have to look at it in a different perspective on the blood flow.
And my last question would be like, are you seeing yourself getting involved into trainings as a big thing also to train young doctors and to maybe look? Of course, being an entrepreneur is one thing. Being a physician is one thing.
I love being the physician actually.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, let others run the.
I don't know why I'm doing this.
I like to see patients. That's the thing.
Yeah.
So
So Is training something that you're looking at?
Yeah, actually, in future, which is probably starting next year, we're planning to conduct more training workshops for
2024 lah.
Yeah, for new doctors or even GPs who want to incorporate ECP practice in their centers or in their GP clinics. That goes different lah, from state to state. They have a different jurisdiction now. All
the rules are the same. It's just the Napoleons are different.
Correct. The lower ones, yeah. Now, training will be part of our plan, because you see, like I said, a lot of doctors, a lot of medical practitioners, they just don't know where to start, where to buy the machines. Yeah, we can get the machines, and there is a variety of machines. We are not confined to one brand. You see, a lot of times, a lot of like pioneer EECP practitioners, even in India or in US, they somehow become inclined to one particular brand. We don't want to do that. Okay, because we are purely focusing on the benefits and the practice actually. So the practice needs a lot of training. Because the training is not just like, okay, 3 days and then you go and do what you want. No, it's going to be a continuous thing. And even till
the learning
now,
goes on.
Correct, learning goes on. There's an international ECP group that I'm in. Every other day, there will be new things to be shared. And there will be someone junior asking, just putting the angiogram picture and like, should I do, should I not? So there's a lot of discussion.
So should I take the angiogram picture in another angle?
That is completely different lah. That one we have to discuss with the cardiologist. Now, so that gives you a well-rounded experience on who to treat, who not to, especially if they come with their angiogram report. Like if you have a left main, more than 50% stenosis, these are also contraindication. Probably I didn't tell you this now yet, but contraindications comes from different this thing. From echo, you can see a lot of things. If you have a mild pericarditis, don't touch the patient. So all this has to go through a training, you see, and we will not confine, like I said, confine to cardiac alone, because peripheral vascular disease also benefits from ECP.
Yeah.
You see, it's so wide.
Yeah.
So we want to touch on the main things and things that we are unsure, just like, okay, pregnancy. If you see everything, pregnancy is contraindicated. Let's not talk about ECP. Anything. Why? Because they just never tested on a pregnant lady. That's all. You see? True. This is how it goes on. So now, previously, AF is a no-no. It's an absolute contraindication for ECP 5 years ago. But today you can do. Okay? With the presence of P wave and you have to look at the certain conditions of the AF, you can do. I have a patient who's AF and doing ECP. But I do not... I can't say that, to everyone, it's okay to do it.
It's based on your experience and handling things.
And this is where I also support the ministry, where they've started to, regulate ECP centers and all that. When you regulate not only the premise, you should have some sort of like a bit of a training or, what you must do, like emergency trolley. I've been to like few ECP centers, there's no emergency trolley at all. Okay, it's just like a massage, this thing. So regulations should come in as well. I believe.
Yeah, agree. Yeah. Regulations should come in,
but
and also
jangan menyusahkan orang, like you said.
It has to be a strategic, synergistic cooperation between government and private entities, and also physicians who are not in the private segment, because we still have to help. The whole cake is to be focused on for the community benefit. It's not just about just like, private is making revenue, hospital is no, it's all taxpayers. All of them contribute to the same system.
And this one thing to add, this perception that most cardiologists have is that they don't say ECP doesn't work to be this thing. Okay, they say it works, but you are not indicated for that. So when you ask them what's an indication, those who are not responding to medical treatment, cannot be stented, cannot be bypassed, they can do EECP. So that's why it stays there.
Talian hayat
lah. But what has happened over the years, those who don't have those kind of conditions started to do EECP, and they saw
the difference,
a good result as well. You see? So when cardio starts to see results, I think they will be, convinced.
Yeah,
In fact, many of them are
I feel
saying
that that dinosaur medicine will slowly sort of erode as new lineage of young bred physicians come in.
right.
New ideas, new perspectives, new horizons will be discussed.
Like I met this new cardiologist from the UK, Malaysian, and he says, "Wow, you have EECP." Most cardio clinics in the UK have EECP in their practice.
Oh, okay.
See, so who is hiding what now? That kind of thing. So it's more on awareness, both sides. The medical doctors, cardios, and all that have to start to introduce EECP to the public, and people will start to,
to adapt
that.
Well, great discussion. I hope that a lot of us learn a lot today about EECP from Dr. Dan, especially from Heart Bit E-ECP. So, before you go, how do people contact you guys? How do you search?
You can
search
go to our Facebook pages. You just put Heart Bit. There will be a few Heart Bit. So see which is nearer.
Yeah, there are many branches and everything around Malaysia.
Yeah, around Malaysia. We have one in Sabah as well, and KL we have 3, and Ipoh, Johor. Yeah, and we want to expand, but with the right kind of mindset doctors lah. So that's what I actually would like to welcome more doctors. Can call me. And we can talk about it like step by step how to actually start.
Yeah, especially for young doctors who are still like looking for something that they like to journey on.
Correct.
Because you need to understand like medicine. It's not just about just like jumping into a segment. Then it becomes very saturated.
Yeah.
And then you need I made a mistake kind of thing.
Correct.
So you have to understand like what's the long lifeline in medicine. And sometimes we get to discuss not just hanya pada the perspective of what the physician does, but also the physician's journey at this segment, and where the dynamics of the healthcare industry, the market structure, governance, all of this we have to discuss. And then thanks for being in Lesung Batu Medic Show. I hope this this episode was beneficial to you guys. Please don't forget to like, subscribe and share with anyone who have a cardiovascular issue, so that they learn a bit or two tentang apa masalah EECP ni, macam mana benda berfungsi, how we can help the population yang ada masalah-masalah berkenaan dengan jantung dan sebagainya. So hingga the next episode, kita lesung kau